Hello. Welcome to the next step, New Consciousness Programming, showcasing the art, the music, the literature, the spirituality, and the politics of the evolving new consciousness. We're coming to you direct to video from Palo Alto, California, and it's March 10th, 2002. Hi, my name is Galen. I'll be your moderator tonight for this, the fourth episode of The Next Step, entitled The Fall of Fascism. I'd like to introduce Terry Lavios, our musical host and co-producer of the show. Thank you for that beautiful interlude, Terry. And I'd like to introduce our panel, starting on my left. Mehta Baba, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Mehta Baba. My official title is Demi-Guru, which I just totally made up, I have to admit. But what I really am is just a mystic, you know, regular person.
I never say
on a mystical path.
Mystic, but anyway.
That's true. I mean, there's a lot of mystics, and you know, if all else fails, you can be a mystic. So, I mean, you know, so basically, you know, that's me. You know. So I feel though that I have liberty, you know, to get involved and to comment on anything.
All right. Well, that's why you're here.
And I have a lot of experience with a lot of things, so you know, it could be good.
I think that's why you're on the panel.
But I don't have any claim to great authority or expertise or training.
We have people on the panel that do.
I have a lot of opinions.
Good, and we definitely want you to share
that liberally.
We'd love you to share that.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, Mehta Baba. On my left, Michael McCarthy. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
I've just moved to the area. I've spent most of my adult life as a war photographer, traveling around East Africa, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, documenting mostly stills, video, the atrocities, you know, wars, human rights abuses, famine. And I've moved to Palo Alto to kind of recover from some of that. And, so I have a little bit of a insight as to what you don't see on television.
Right, right.
I'm a pervert for peace.
Pervert for peace. All right. The kind of perversion we like
I
here.
think we should be given a voice, and very happy to be here.
Great. Well, actually, I'll mention one thing. I hope you don't mind, but I had actually heard of you before I met you, which is always interesting. Didn't you jump off the Empire State Building with a parachute?
Yeah, that's my extreme performance art.
Performance art.
So I like to. It's my
That's
celebration of
one of the things you
life.
do,
and
jumping
it's,
off.
Serves as a metaphor, I think. You know, as we stand on the precipice of our future, you know, we can leap off into it and get a thrill out of being alive. But if we don't think wisely, we can crash to the bottom and, at best, you know, sort of be very seriously injured or die, quite likely.
Right.
But if we're very wise, we can land safely in the future. So the parachute serves as a metaphor for that.
Right. I totally see that.
Yeah, you know, what is ahead of us is challenging, and so we must prepare ourselves wisely for that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here today and for
thank
sharing
you,
your
thank
views with us and your wisdom and
Good to be in
your knowledge.
California. Yeah.
Thank you. And on my right is Danielle McBrady. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm currently an undergraduate studying history and art history, and I'm glad to be here to give the feminine perspective to the government and fascism.
There
I think
you
it's
go.
important for the feminine
I think we
to
need,
stand up.
yeah, I think we need at least one woman on our
Yes.
panel and
least.
crew today. So thank you for being here and representing the feminine side. As you might remember, our last show was Resurrection of the Goddess. And so a lot of the things we're going to be talking about today to pre-shadow that is about this imbalance between the masculine and the feminine, the patriarchy. So we'll be covering those topics. And then to my further right is Dave Chapman. Dave, would you tell us something about yourself?
Well, let's see. I do various high-tech stuff, and I'm here today mostly in my role as a theorist of political systems and economic systems. I think Galen is optimistic that fascism is imminently going to fall, but I think we're going to give him a good shove.
There you go. And thanks for those encouraging words. So I'd like to invite the musicians to feel free to jump in as we're going to jump into dialogue here. So well, the topic of the show is the fall of fascism. So I guess that begs the question is, what the heck is fascism anyway? I mean, I've had a policeman who was arresting me call me a fascist. So it made me, is there a dictionary, is there a definition, you know, the second definition that is somehow contradictory to the definition?
Well, wasn't Mussolini the first fascist?
Yeah.
Didn't he kind of coin the
he's
term?
the father of,
Officially and
officially
historically
the first fascist. And, you know, he really promoted it as a philosophy. You know, there's a great treatise on fascism as a reasonable form of government.
And one of its main components was action over thought, and by action he meant violence. So fascism with Mussolini glorified in violence.
Right.
And this is actually recorded.
Right.
You know.
I think a lot of the great religions you could see as a form of fascism as well. That sort of institutionalized spirituality, and therefore this is the way things must be.
Yes.
And totally, you know, apart from nature, that you know bear no relation to the natural processes. And I think as human beings, collectively, we are a fascist species. We're sort of dominating.
So you think it's
all the
actually
other
human beings?
I think that it's
slightly
human
different,
beings.
I think. The definition from the books is that it's a minority form of government, where the average person is not allowed to speak, where the
Or to have influence. Maybe you can speak, but
no, if you say
let you go
something that's supported by the government and they approve of it, well then you're all right.
oh,
But if you say something that they
Freedom
don't
of
approve
speech.
of, you
Freedom
know,
of speech,
then you know they've got the fascist policeman with his
There you
big
go.
stick.
it's an absolute rule of authority.
right.
Yeah,
it's
it's
totalitarianism.
it's
Power
a-
of the state.
Authoritarianism.
It's a minority form of government where you do not have hereditary aristocrats, you do not have priests or anybody like that. It's a government of people who are professional politicians, where the average person does not have any political rights. And the characteristic failure mode of fascism is that it either turns into a militaristic form where it starts attacking people and then loses a war,